Hello and welcome to another episode of CyberMasters. I am Ed Notella, and as you can see, I'm running solo tonight. There's a special reason I'm doing that. First, we're going to, as we usually do, talk about some interesting tech news. Then we're going to move on to cybersecurity news. And then I can't wait to talk about a special hobby and project I've been involved with for a number of years, which is e-biking. I'm going to talk about it. We're going to look at a couple of different models, and then I'm going to be pulling up some demonstration models that I personally own and have custom built, and some that I've bought from stores. And it should be a pretty interesting show there tonight. Just want to say that CyberMasters, again, is on every single Wednesday. We start around 8 o'clock. We usually log in around like 7:30, 7:45, get the show started, share some links. Really looking for people to participate and live chat and throw in some questions. We do repeat subjects from one show to another. Just again, CyberMasters has been on since February, believe it or not. And it's a show about technology where specialists simplify things and show you things that are in the news you may know a little bit about and are looking to expand your knowledge on. We're trying to create a show where you can take this information and share it with just about anybody, not going too deep down the rabbit hole, although we give you the information where you can look as deep as you want. If you text me or write in the show, there's a number of other hosts that I know that are happy to go deep down the rabbit hole on some of these subjects. Podcasting is a community. You may have heard me say last time, there's 850,000 podcasters. I'm not sure if they're all video, between audio and video, and I'm joining that clan. So who knows what can happen with my show. I've been watching talk shows since I'm a little kid. Letterman, Johnny Carson, you name it, that's where I started. And I guess, some folks that I met early on got me really motivated to jump into this, and I created about 2 years worth of show, all around technology news, keeping track of cyber criminals and what they're all up to. So again, we've relocated just for this evening to demonstrate the e-bikes and have that conversation. Next week's show, we're going to have 3 CyberMasters on from different large enterprises discussing some really detailed information about how they work, what their perception of cyber warfare is today. I believe Rick's going to also introduce some other interesting subjects, like the James Webb Telescope and other really interesting technologies that people know just a little bit about, right? So, tonight's news is going to be about a big attack that took place just a number of days ago. It's the GM attack. I'm going to pull that up in a moment. And then we're going to be talking about e-bikes, and then I'm going to demonstrate some e-bikes, and love for you guys to jump in. Just want to say that I studied e-bikes for several years before I bought one, as a professional technologist and just interested in all kinds of technology. I always study really deep into what I want to buy before I buy it. Sometimes I get myself snagged up, but most of the time I find exactly what I want. So you're not only talking to somebody who's been in IT for many years, but an extreme hobbyist, all right, of many different flavors. And tonight, the e-bikes. Just want to say something interesting about the e-bike technology. If my friend David's watching, we were into drones very early on. And then all this these rules and laws came out about where to fly drones and how to operate them. So similarly with e-bikes, in America here, there's really very little legislation or rules of how it works. So there's some crazy customizations that you can make. We assume that, like the drone industry and bicycles in Europe, for example, which do require a license if you go over 20 miles an hour or so, And I believe that's going to come here. And you're looking at an industry that's kind of the wild, wild west, where they're a little bit, lawless. Some of the bike dealers, though, have come aware that they won't work on some custom bikes, and they get really bent out of shape if they go like 50, 60 miles an hour. Anyway, to be discussed in a little bit. All right. Let me jump into this very interesting subject, which is our cyber news. So let me get this going here. I apologize. Take a look at this. This is U.S. car giant General Motors hit by cyber attack exposing car owners' personal information. That can't be good. U.S. automotive manufacturer GM announced it was hit by a credential stuffing attack last month that exposed customer information and allowed hackers to redeem rewards points for gift cards. Now, GM said that they have detected the malicious login activity between April 11th and 29th of this year. Well, we're writing to follow up on this date email to you, advising you your data incident incident involving the identification of recent redemptions of your rewards program, yada, yada, yada. So what's happening here, they have no choice but to notify their users. In most legal realms in America, most states, you do have to disclaim and notify that this is happening. For example, if you have clients in the New York region or in California, you have to notify everyone that you've been breached. Now, I guess some people find this not very important. Oh, it's the rewards program. Well, those rewards programs are tied to a lot of personal identifiable information. How many people is this? Something like 42 million people potentially were affected by this. So it's just another confirmation of your personal data that the hackers have gotten, right? So phishing attacks are attacks that these hackers produce on these companies to slowly siphon information out, to one day perform a serious targeted attack called a spear phishing attack. So here's another attempt from who knows what group this is, to find out all the information, all this PII, cross-reference it with other databases they have, and start to call people, start to send them emails and fake them out, trick them, and they're giving them their money. Now, how does this happen? Someone may call you from a social media, from one of the social engineering data centers in India. Hi, I am from GM. We need to look up something on your rewards program, right? You feel like it's just an innocent call. Somebody called you. Hey, it's from the rewards program, no problem. But what they're doing is siphoning your personal information. At times, they even ask users to, hey, log on to your computer and let me log in remotely, where they literally jump in and start siphoning other information out of you. So what do you do about this? Well, if you are involved with GM in any way, change all your passwords, make sure you have multi-factor authentication turned on. And one of the latest things that I'm really encouraging folks to do is change your username. It not necessarily has to be your email address at all times. In many cases, I've made a customized username and a customized password. That's not my email address for the username, along with multi-factor authentication. And that's pretty much where you're going to be. Some folks go beyond and do a dark web search. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because perceivably this data that was stolen, the personal identifiable information from GM, is now going to be shared and sold for profit by these hackers to other hackers on the dark web. And that's one of the things that we're pretty concerned about. So some users have the ability, if you're willing to pay a couple of bucks, it's not that expensive at all, to do a dark web search, which is a way you can verify whether your personal information, whether stolen from this particular website or others, is out there for sale. I've done a dark web search. I've realized that all the sites that had been compromised I had long changed all of the authentication, passwords, added multi-factor authentication to it. But we did a dark web search for someone recently where we were able to notice that in, what was it, September of 2019, this particular gentleman was playing Words with Friends with his wife. We were able to see how many times he played, what his logins were, and randomly he had used that same login information, username and password, at 2 other shopping sites. And we were able to detect all this from a dark web search. So one of the benefits of that is to, has your data been taken? Is it now for sale on the web? And are the passwords wide open and still the same from the last time it happened? So when you hear about attacks like this from this show or on the news, please be proactive and go and change your username and password and make sure this multi-factor authentication coding is involved, right? So take a look. These attacks are happening extremely frequently at this point. Notice here, right, I just want to highlight this for a second. The personal information of affected customers includes first and last name, personal email address, home address, usernames, phone numbers, and registered family members tied to the account, last known and saved favorite location information, current subscribed OnStar package, if available, family members' avatars and photos, if they were updated, profile pictures and search, and destination information. If you haven't changed your passwords or figured out a way to overcome access to this, it could be for sale on the dark web. It may be worth it for you to check it out. Let me explain what's happening in New York and California. Certainly in New York, they have the Shields Act. And the Shields Act says that if you have 5 or more pieces of personal information on someone, you've broken the law. If you look at these highlighted items, if you have a profile of 5 or more of these items together on someone, they now have to, by law, notify every one of their customers, vendors, and employees to do so. Some states are now making it a law. Not everyone has it, but you bet your butt it's coming, right? So personal identifiable information, PII, is a critical piece of conversation in our industry. Consider the following, right? You have a particular knee problem, right? And there's a doctor or a group who's studying a particular knee injury or whatever. How can you give your medical information to the researcher without having your personal identifiable information given? So there's a big conversation in our industry called big data. How are you separating personal identifiable information from the particular problem a group has in a region, in a country, in a particular gene pool? How can you measure that without stealing personal information? Big situation in this big data pool for medical studies, and you can imagine this is being studied in so many industries, right? Let's read on just for a moment here. Other information available to hackers includes car mileage history, service history, emergency contact, and Wi-Fi hotspot settings. What it doesn't say here is how they're going to pay my bills for me. Well, I guess that's coming. Really funny. We had a situation, this is from my friend Paul, in that particular thing. He had somebody he knew, a friend, who had called him and said, "Hey, wait a minute, I think I'm getting hacked." He goes, "How do you know?" "Well, this guy pretending to be from PayPal wanted to log into my computer and asked me to log into my account." He's like, "No, don't click on anything." And like he's running over there to fix this thing. So when he got to the customer, he had disconnected, but he said, "You won't believe it. Before the guy hung up, he fixed my scanner, my printer, did updates to my machine." So I guess the hackers are doing a little bit of good work. If you can catch them right in time, maybe they'll fix your computer for free. I don't know what they have in mind with that, but I've seen 2 or 3 cases now where the hackers actually fixing something before they do the attack. So be aware of that kind of thing. Very interesting. GM operates an online platform that assists owners of Chevy, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, to manage the bills and redeem rewards programs. So it's tied to the portal, it's tied to your billing and your rewards program, and all of your information is there. Uh, I can imagine that if you use those rewards programs maybe to take trips, they even know your destination where you've been. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know if that's very good situation there, right? So, um, I don't know what to tell you. It's I'm sitting outside. I don't know if you could tell. It's a beautiful evening, getting a little chilly. Um, I'm concerned about personal identifiable information. You should be too. My friend and I, my colleague and I did a demonstration for a government group today. Something about 80 or 90 folks were participating, both virtually, some were there in the hall with us. And, when it comes to security, I've teamed up with this gentleman, Greg, because he does physical security. Physical security and virtual security really go hand in hand. And I'm surprised at the lack of understanding so many officials, so many individuals have around this whole subject about security. I mean, some folks tell me, oh, it's so hard to use a password. It's so hard to get multi-factor authentication. Well, you don't really have much of a choice anymore. This is a war. What's going on with GM stealing the information, using it against you, and selling it on the dark web is wartime. If you've noticed, most people even understand that before a physical war takes place, there's a virtual preemptive attack that takes place. Look what's happened in the recent wars. You're seeing it happen. You can bet your bottom dollar that as you're seeing increases of cybercrime, other crime will be right behind it. It's like a smoke screen, right? One of the big issues that I constantly have around this, you ask my team, Scott's on the line with us. I've called the FBI, I've called these agencies and have tried my darndest to get them to pay attention. But unless it's a big money theft crime, there's so much of this going on, there's not a lot of time they can pay attention to you. I even called AARP, and I spoke with some manager in the IT cyber department, cybersecurity department, and I said, do you realize the billions of dollars that are being taken out of your readers? What are you doing about it? Are you offering classes? Why can't ARP offer cybersecurity training weekly where you log in and all your members get it with their subscription? Pretty good idea, right? I want part of that if anybody does that. But she says we don't have the resources for it, which, again, like so many other industries, where's technology? Where's the spend? Where's the care for data for your clients in there? Yes, in my opinion, AARP should get off their butt and offer daily cybersecurity training for all of their members, included with the subscriptions, right? Big deal there. Let me go on. It's only about 20 minutes in, but I'd like to spend my time on my favorite subject here. So let me transition. E-biking. E-biking is just an incredible hobby that I've taken on. It's allowed us to take biking to an extremely new level here. So e-biking is basically a bicycle where there's an engine attached. You are able to ride it like a normal bicycle, but at the same time, you have the ability to press a little button, and you're flying around on the e-bike. It's pretty amazing, to say the least. Many people like it for different reasons. So you can, if people who bike still can bike, you'll be biking just as much, perceivably. But now you can go much further distance, for the same ride. And that's really what I like about this. It's not so much that you can just, instead of pedaling, it's like you're assisting your ride. You're going anywhere you want. It's really taken off to an interesting level. So since there's no laws yet, I'm sorry, I'm just playing with this to get the right video going so I can do the right demonstration. I apologize. Just a little delay here in my backup studio. Hope this looks good. Here we go. 16 best electric bikes you can buy right now. I think this is a good place to start. I'll give you a variety of different bikes. There's 3 classes of bikes. There's a Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3. Class 1 bike is where it's pedal assisted, where the engine doesn't turn on unless you're pedaling, and it makes you go 20, 25 miles an hour. A Class 2 allows you to press a button and you're zooming without pressing the pedals. But in most cases, you have a Class 3, which combines the two and brings the whole thing together, where you're actually pressing the button, and when you're pedaling the bike, it's accelerating it to some interesting levels. Now, in Europe, they actually have laws for this now. I'm told that if you go over 20 miles an hour in Europe, you have to register the e-bike. Now, in the United States, if you go over 28 miles an hour, you also have to register the bike, which I was told about on Sunday by a specialist. I said, well, how do I register? He says, there is no registration possible. You're just not allowed to do it. So the custom e-bike industry allows you to go a little bit beyond that and really go far beyond that. And there's no really laws yet set for how fast you can take your e-bike. E-bikes have become especially popular for an interesting group of folks. Imagine you've gotten a DWI and you're not allowed to drive your car anymore. You can get an e-bike that perceivably takes you 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. You can bike to work, and it doesn't require any kind of driver's license. Now, I've talked to users who've been pulled over by police and said, hey, where's your license? There's no plate on this. And was able to prove out that there's nothing they can do. It's just the e-bike, and they let them go. That's got to change, right? I'm sure of it. So no segment of bicycles is growing faster than e-bikes. And that demand is good for you, the e-bike shopper, with tons of different options out there. Designs keep improving. Tech becomes more reliable at all kinds of prices. Now, the kind of bikes that you're going to see today, one was store-bought. It was designed as an e-bike with the engine and battery all built into the frame. The second model you're going to see is a completely customized specialized stout mountain bike where a Bafang custom e-bike kit was drilled into and attached to this bike. And it operates and works completely differently than the store-bought one, okay? Also, e-bikes come in a different couple flavors. The ones that are type 2, where you press with the button, can come either in a front spinning wheel or a rear spinning wheel, and they both have different advantages, okay? Let's take a look here, right? This is a pretty extreme article here. The 3 classes of e-bikes, we talked about this. Which bike is best for you? The class of 1 through 3 is something to keep in mind. Now, they're talking about different speeds. I perceive that the law will be different in Europe, where we'll be at about 25 or 28 miles an hour before you require one of these licenses. To be seen, right? To be worked out. I mean, how many years did it take him to work out the drone laws, right? So rare just a year ago, Class 2 models are becoming more popular, especially at lower prices. Prices are changing constantly, you know? So two e-bike terms to know. You need to have torque, which is how the bike pulls, measured in Newton meters or Nm. Torque is a rotational measure of force. So each bike is going to have, based on the engine and the power, different torque. Some e-bikes can take you straight up a hill 30 degrees without feeling it. Other e-bikes will kind of conk out halfway through. Take a look at this guy. This bicycling deputy editor Tara makes an adjustment while testing the Aviton level bike. This was a bike designed specifically to be an e-bike, not a regular bike that was customized. Watt hours, the size of an e-bike's battery, right? How far can you go? The e-bike battery also does have an effect on the speed and performance of the whole situation. So also important to keep in mind. So watt hours, the size of an e-bike's battery is measured in watt hours, WH, which represents the amount of energy stored in the battery and how many watts can deliver each hour. Okay. Other e-bike features to consider, locking battery. I have that on 2 of my bikes, where you have the special key that turns the bike on and off, and you can actually lock it so the battery doesn't fall out or can be stolen, God forbid, right? Wider tires. I did the same thing to my bike. I put the wider tires on there. The wider tires allowed me to even drive on sand and on the beach. Really creates for an interesting motorcycle type of ride. Definitely put the wider tires on there. Integrated lights, also a big deal. I also have integrated lights where, depending on, you turn on the motor, you have headlights, rear lights, they all turn on the same time. You'll be seeing some of that also as well. Very important if you ride at night, obviously. So this is a little bit how they tested it, which was based on, let's see, how they handled motor, battery life. And those are really the key features that I looked for when I started shopping. How it handled. Wider tires give you great handling. What kind of motor. The battery life. How long can I go? Whether the components and features add an overall quality of the ride. Is the seat good? Is it comfortable? Can you pull things with it? Does it have a hitch or a bag area in the back? Let's take a look here. The Aviton level. Look at that. 60 pounds, 500 watt, goes about 28 miles an hour. What a good looking bike there, right? It's $1,800. I'm sorry, $1,799. You can probably get a bunch of really awesome accessories for it. Really decent bike. I'm not sure whether you can actually override the motor. I don't think it matters. 20, 25 miles an hour is pretty fast on a bike. You will be going against the wind, against people who are professional riders who can't keep up with you. $1,800. Look at this guy. Beautiful. They call that their best seller. Okay. It's for the Aviton level is the sleeper car of the city and commuter e-bikes, similar to a Volvo wagon. Interesting comparison how they're doing it. Yeah, so the looks and how they look is becoming a big deal. They got to make these e-bikes look cool. Some of them just look like a bunch of metal with a seat on it. This is a very attractive one, right? The best commuter e-bike, the Cannondale Treadwell Neo 2 Remixte? Remixte? Listen, I'm not French, so I'm not sure what they mean by that. Very pretty bike, 35 pounds, only 20 miles per hour. Again, got to tell you, it's pretty fast, even 20 miles an hour. Don't kid yourself. 40 Nm, so it's got a little bit of juice to go up the hill. go against the wind, which is really where that comes into. So we have a path where we take it straight to the beach, and there's days when that wind is pounding against you, and you notice the less torque you have in the bike, you really slows you down significantly. So everybody loves Cannondale. What a great bike. They want $19.25 for that model. Pretty cool. I like it very much. Let's move on. The Rad Power Bikes. The Rad Mission. Look at that. A little more torque, a little heavier, also 20 miles an hour. I really like this design. This is sort of the design you'll see from one of my e-bikes tonight that I custom built, where the battery's in the middle and has these sort of fat tires. Very good looking bike there. They want $1,200. Come on, $1,200? Well worth it. To be able to also ride normally and have the extra power so you can get double the distance with the same effort. You're still exercising, right? You're still exercising. The Aviton Pace 350 step through. Okay, so now there's a couple of different models. This is a step through model, meaning it's a level 1. You got to step through it without pressing the button. Really attractive bike, extremely powerful. Look at that, 350 watt. I hear that the NMs are very high on it. Something to look at. Notice it's built like an e-bike. The motor is hidden. The battery's like right in the chassis there. Very pretty looking bike there. Only $1,400. Great bike at a great price. Integrated battery, you saw that. Integrated brake lights. Very nice. You could ride at night. I like that guy. The Flyer L885. I like this. This is one I was originally looking at getting. Pretty good torque. Top speed 20 miles an hour. You're able to make adjustments where potentially go a little faster, add a little torque. There's adjustments you can make to some bikes. Very cool looking bike. You're talking about $2,000, 2,000 even. What's the weight on this? 73 pounds. Now some of these bikes get pretty heavy duty, right? They get pretty heavy. They're like a hybrid bicycle, motorcycle thing. They all have pedals, so you can pedal. And again, some of them you can make adjustments to how you work on them. They come in different colors. The cargo carrier, very exciting there. All right, the Rad Power. Look at this, the Rad Runner 2. What a cool looking bike there. I like those personally because you don't have the bar right there. You can step over it real nice. Look where they put the battery, sort of behind the seat there. Very attractive. Somewhat smaller wheels. Decent torque, 65 miles an hour. They're looking for how much? Ooh, no price spent here. It's about $2,000 when I was looking at these. All right. Let's continue on. The Charge City. Look at that. Really nice looking bike there. $1,700. 45 pounds, 20 miles an hour. Very nice. I like this guy over here. Pretty good torque. 53 miles an hour. 25 miles an hour. 53 pounds. I'm sorry. They're looking for $2,000 for this particular model. Now, you can buy these bikes on eBay. You can buy them at these dealers. I do recommend you go to the particular dealer websites and order them there. You want to be able to service these bicycles. You're going to put some pretty heavy wear and tear, especially if you're not used to them. So potentially go to your local store. Highly recommended. And if you're going to buy it online, don't necessarily buy it from the big shopping sites and go to specific dealers so you have a warranty and a way to service this equipment. Very pretty blue bike. I would want another one just like that, to be honest. The Rad Power, again, looks like a wagon there. Very nice placement of the battery. Looks like good steel. More of like a beach bike there for $2,000. What's the weight there? 73 pounds, 20 miles an hour. Very nice torque. So you're getting the picture here, right? 54 pounds, 65 Nm, 20 miles an hour. Very attractive bike. They're looking for $4,200 on this guy. So if you start going into the more fancier bikes, I mean, my friend Ross, who I'm not sure if he's watching, he went with a Trek bike. So they come in all shapes and sizes. We were looking at the office at which one? The Harley Davidson one. Harley Davidson has an e-bike, and they want 20 grand for that one. And I saw Mercedes has an e-bike. I don't know the exact price. I think it was $8,000 to $10,000. There's another the Trek Alon. They want $6,300 for that. Notice the brand really adds really nice price section to this. Most of these are ones where you pedal, and you're getting the full exercise without necessarily pressing a trigger on the handlebars. All right. So there's the Rad Power 6. My bike is not on these lists. Right? Look at this guy, $3,800. 20 miles an hour. You get the basic picture. There's quite a bit of this going on here. Let me show you something else that's going on. Sorry about that. Lost audio there for a moment. I was just explaining how we were getting custom. Let me get this worked out here for a moment so I can go back to that screen. Thank you for letting me know about the audio problem on that side. And we're coming right back here. There we go. Sorry about that. So these are custom e-bike parts. Let me take you back to the top of the screen here. What I've done is I've built myself a custom e-bike. I took a specialized stout and I added custom components like you see on this website. There's many places where you can buy this from. Bafang is one of the popular models today, where you're literally buying a back tire with electronics that connect up to things right next to the handlebars, and you press a button and you're able to accelerate the bike without ever pedaling again. You can pedal as well as press the button and accelerate. These come available in a front wheel, a back wheel, or what you're going to see with my bike. We replaced the pedals with this engine that drives the chain. Very interesting setup there. A lot of people coming up with different ideas on this whole thing. And thanks for letting me know about that audio problem for a second. It's going to happen, guys, right? I mean, come on. It's a show here. What am I going to do? Let me go to my first demonstration of my first custom e-bike. I hope the lighting is sufficient so we can see exactly how it looks and how it works. Here we go. I'm going to take my mic with me, and we're going to transition here. 1 second. Let me make sure we're good. All right, guys. Hope we're good over here. This is my first e-bike that I bought. It was bought in New York City from a dealer that built the MNC brand. They had bought a chain of bikes and they OEM'd them. Noticed the very heavy-duty tires. This bike cost me about $2,000. The engine is in the back tire there. Every time I press this button, it accelerates that tire. Now, I don't have to pedal at all, and the bike is moving. I can accelerate even faster if I pedal while I'm pressing the button. So that's a little override. Notice this very large battery here. This large battery lets me go probably 60 miles an hour on this particular bike. Very nice. It's quite beaten. I've done close to 1,500 miles on it in about a year. It's been through snow. It's been on the sand. It's been everywhere. I'm able to put a nice pack on the back where I carry accessories. I have mirrors on here so I can see the back. I have multiple cool lights that people can see me from the bib front or from the back. Comes with a key, so you have to actually use a key to turn it on and off. Hang on here, I missed a hole. And when I turn it on, it also comes with horn and lights, as we were showing before. And yeah, this goes about 25 miles an hour, about 28 miles an hour if I pedal while I'm holding down the lever. I've put a bunch of other lights on here. You can really accessorize it to any degree you really want. This is an MNC bike found by E-Fly Bikes in New York City. There's several locations. I find they do a great job. The first time I had a problem, I had a flat tire in the back. Within an hour, they replaced it, upgraded me. Very good situation. Find a good bike dealer to work with. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't have an extra battery. Again, this battery's been sufficient for me so far. Yeah, so that's my store-bought e-bike. And let me see if we got anything cooking here. And pretty excited about riding that. I do live in a neighborhood where there's not a lot of cars, so I'm really able to take it. I also have a Burley wagon that I attach to the back, and I pull my kids around sometimes. It's quite a bit of fun, actually, and we have a lot of great times with it. I'm not looking to soup this one up. It's in really perfect working order. I guess I have one e-bike that I'm using that doesn't require any accessories and upgrades. I've put a couple accessories on here, but it's kind of my cruiser bike. Yeah, go around town, maybe go to the store. I can go to the beach with it. It's really a lot of fun. You know, and really exciting stuff there. I'm going to just transition over to this for a moment, and I'm going to pull my other e-bike out to show you guys, so just give me a moment. Alright guys, this is my very customized Specialized Stout mountain bike. We've attached a Bafang engine to the underbelly of it. Put a custom chain ring on there. So what's happening on this particular model, when this is added, it's actually using the bike chain to accelerate. So in this particular model, the engine and the bike is really integrated, and you actually have to change gears as you would when you're riding normally to be able to make the bike go faster and slower. With the other e-bike, you don't really need to do that. You can just accelerate as you want, and you don't need to change gears while you're riding. On this model, you definitely do. Couple of interesting things I want to point out. Here's the battery. We've put another battery mount on here for a second battery. I have tubeless tires. Very nice. Tubeless tires are a little bouncy, but I feel great. They feel great on the road. Very nice. Also notice I have a pack on there. If you look over here, I have all kinds of third-party lights I've put on here. I have a camera mounted on the back. It's a night vision camera, so you can see at night. I have several lights on the front here. I do ride at night. I feel comfortable with it. I don't necessarily recommend high-speed e-biking at night, but some people do it. This bike was not originally meant to be an e-bike. It was completely converted, and I will say it's at least twice as fast as the e-bikes that you would buy at a store. Especially this particular bike. Everybody knows Stout Specialized makes such beautiful bicycles. And to be able to customize it and add that motor gives you really a lot of range, a lot more than what these manufacturers are doing. So let's take a look at it one last time here. And I feel pretty proud of it. Generally, bike stores won't even service it. You have to really know how to service it yourself, or go to a custom shop where it could be a little bit more pricey than your average bicycle service that you're paying for. It's really a big experiment when you're buying one of these. But I will say that the torque and speed and what you can do with it would be at least double what you're going to buy from a store-bought bike. Problems and expenses, I would say you're spending double the money. If you could buy an e-bike for $2,000, you'll be spending $4,000 to $5,000 on this, plus all the interesting accessories that you can get for it, right? So I find that pretty exciting. Between the two bikes, I guess I've put several thousand miles on them. Haven't made a long-term trip yet, but that's coming, where I'm perceivably going 60 miles or so one way, charging and then coming back. If you're in most cities, if you're in New York City, you see these all over the place. You also see the e-scooters, if you see that scooting around. Looking at one of those e-scooters, I feel a little bit unsafe on those. I feel a little safer on these e-bikes. It's a pretty funny story. I was going down to the beach one day, and I'm riding against the wind, and I see these pro bikers in a line with like a coach, and they're weaving in and out, trying to go as fast as they can. I was like, popped on my e-bike, flew past them. They were kind of pissed at me. I hear that regular bikers don't really like that, but I don't know. I had a really good time, and again, you can go still do exercise. You're just going a little further, And anyway, thanks for joining tonight. We're gonna end the show. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week with my cohort Rick. We have a number of CIOs coming. We're gonna have a pretty serious IT discussion. And then the following weeks, we have shows coming about law enforcement, more government, IoT devices and security. I'm sure there'll be lots of interesting hacks to discuss. Again, the James Webb Telescope is something we're going to talk about. The hearings about the UFOs. That's technology I can't wait to get my hands on, right? So how can you just put that out there and not tell me where I can get a custom kit to make my own, right? So anyway, thank you. We'll see you back in the studio next week, and really appreciate everybody coming in and being part of our little show here today. Let's see if I can get this ending correct, and see you guys next Wednesday.